Mary's eyes wandered toward the window where the golden light of sunset stretched across the fading leaves. Every so often, an autumn breeze drifted by, rustling the crimson maple tree in the yard and stirring something tender in her heart. In the past, at this very hour, the house would come alive with laughter. The sound of little feet running across the floor, the children rushing to tell her about their day at school. Dinner back then was always noisy, filled with clinking dishes and endless chatter. Now all of that belonged to memory. Her children had grown, each busy with careers and lives far away in the city. Mary often reminded herself that this was the natural order of things. Parents remain in the old house while their children step out into the wide world. Yet no matter how much she reasoned with herself, a mother's heart could not help but feel unsteady when faced with empty rooms and silent meals. She set her cup of tea down with a quiet sigh. In that still moment, she realized she longed for something very simple, to hear her child call out, "Mom," just once more. For a brief moment, Mary could not find her voice. The words hung in the air, simple yet profound, echoing in her heart louder than any grand declaration. Her lips trembled, and she pressed the phone closer to her ear as if wanting to capture every syllable, afraid they might vanish. Her son continued speaking, his tone softer now, as though the distance between them had finally melted away. "Work has been overwhelming, Mom. Some days I feel so tired. But tonight I suddenly thought of you, of how you used to wait up for me, no matter how late I came home, and I wanted you to know you're always in my thoughts." Mary's eyes filled with tears, but they were not tears of sadness. They were tears of warmth, of a longing suddenly soothed. She leaned back in her chair, her heart swelling with pride and tenderness. For all the years she had spent worrying, wondering if her children, now adults, ever thought of her in their busy lives, here was her answer. Her voice finally broke through, gentle and steady. "I don't need much, my dear. Just knowing that you are safe and that sometimes you remember your mother is more than enough." There was a pause on the line, filled only by the quiet hum of connection. Yet to Mary, that silence was alive, carrying unspoken love across miles. She closed her eyes and imagined her son as a little boy again, tugging at her apron, asking for a bedtime story. The years had passed, life had changed, but the bond remained unbroken, woven by love, strengthened by the simplest of words, "I miss you." In that tender moment, Mary realized that happiness had never been about grand gestures or extraordinary events. It was hidden in the smallest acts of love, the sound of her son's voice, the sincerity in his words, the reminder that she still lived in his heart. A single phone call had turned an ordinary evening into a memory she would cherish forever. Smiling through her tears, she whispered a quiet prayer of gratitude. Sometimes it only takes a few simple words to fill a mother's world with light and to remind her that she is never truly alone. In the rush of everyday life, we often forget that parents ask for so little. A short call, a simple message, or a few words of care can become treasures beyond measure. For mothers and fathers, the most precious gift is not something wrapped in ribbons. It is the feeling of being remembered, of knowing their children still carry them in their hearts. As the golden sunset faded through the window, Mary's heart glowed with quiet joy, reminding us all, love does not need to be grand. Sometimes it is the smallest gestures that shine the brightest.